All right. Good evening. Good evening. We've got people still coming in. Let's make sure we're letting them into the house. Turn those cameras on, y'all. Don't leave me out here hanging. I see my team is here, and certainly, Jill, welcome to our Be One of a Million with a Million special presentation. Tonight is really designed to do a recap of what we did in the challenge and really help you see the results, how when you apply all of the principles that you learned this week in the challenge, when you apply them, how they can really get you the results. I'm going to be sharing with you some stories from women in WealthyU who built their first 6 figures, first 7 figures and beyond. And what I want you to really understand is that we open the doors to the Get Wealthy Challenge. We open the doors to enrollment starting on Tuesday. And so I'm going to just do a review of that as well. So how many of you attended the Get Wealthy Challenge? Pauline, I know you're one of our members, and I definitely saw you there, and we even had a meeting this week. So, Lisa, were you able to attend any of the challenge at all? And let's see who else is in. I attended 2 days of the Get Wealthy Challenge. Excellent. And let's see who else is in here with us. Welcome. Is it Geminat? Sedgwick, welcome. Were you able to attend any of the Get Wealthy Challenge? Okay, so Lisa, I would really like to know, you attended 2 days. What was your takeaway? What was the thing that you learned in those 2 days that you feel like could make the most impact? Oh, no worries, Gemini. So you're in for a treat because I'm going to be doing a recap of those 3 days. So no worries, you have missed nothing because I am going to be walking you through doing a recap. I'm also going to be announcing some of our grand prize winners as well. That's good. That's good, Lisa. Wealth mindset versus ownership versus consumer. That's exactly right. And tonight I'm going to be sharing with you really how the women who who applied the secrets that I shared with you this week, which really are the secrets of the 1%, and really designed to help you understand that we've been giving the wrong blueprint. And I'm going to be sharing with you tonight what happens when you get the right blueprint. So good. I'm glad that was your takeaway as well. Pauline, I know, did you attend a couple of days as well? Were you able to attend a couple of the challenge days as well? Oh, come on, folks. Let's get some of those cameras on. Let's get some of those cameras on. Okay, well, here's what I want to do. Tonight, our special presentation on Be One of the Million with a Million is really designed to do a recap of what we went over in those 3 days, show you how when you apply all of those secrets and actually share with you some real life examples of what happens when you become one of the million with a million. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get right into it. Okay. All right. So in the 3-day Get Wealthy Challenge, the whole goal really was to give you insight to the secrets of the 1%. And I really shared with you throughout these days exactly how I discovered those secrets, then went on a pretty circuitous route, wrote several books, but at the end of the day, really began to understand exactly what needed to be done in order for to put this in operationalize it and put it in a framework through which now in our WealthyU community, women are applying these concepts and really seeing their financial trajectory accelerate, getting their money to work faster so that they can become one of a million with a million. So that's really what I shared with you. So the first secret was mindset. And Lisa just said that was the one concept that really, really made an impact on her, that she came away understanding the difference between a wealth mindset and an income mindset, and really the need to take ownership and have assets, right? And then the second aspect that I covered was strategy. And that really was the fact that the difference between what the middle class do versus the wealthy do, that's one of the reasons that there's such a wealth gap. And the fact that we've been given the wrong blueprint and they have the right blueprint. And I talked a little bit about what that meant. And then finally, how the wealthy execute. Again, they have different concepts and strategies really that allow them to end up in a different place. And based on what you learned this week, I'd love for you can put it in the chat. Do you feel like if you were given the right blueprint now that you see what the right blueprint is, if you feel like you can finally understand what the right blueprint is, put yes in the chat. If you finally understand that you've had the wrong blueprint, but now you know what the right blueprint, because I shared with you the secrets of the 1%. That's right. So Pauline says yes. Lisa says yes, I can finally understand the right blueprint. That's right. But the question I have for you is, do you really believe you can become one of the million with a million? So if you believe that now, after spending those 3 days with me, put that in the chat. Put that, if you believe that you can become one of a million with a million, put yes in the chat. Yes, most definitely. Well, here's what I want you to know is you absolutely can. But what I really want you to understand is it's really about, if you can see it, you can be it, right? And so one of the stories that I want to share with you tonight is a woman who had seen me at an event, said, I know that I can do better, began to apply all of these concepts. And one of the other things you should be able to recognize in this story is that she had the wrong blueprint. And I just want to see if you can identify, and that when everything that I talked about this week, that she incorporates in her story.
You can be a millionaire in retirement, and you don't need to earn top dollar to do it.
The studies show that these weren't multimillionaires. These were typically someone earning up to $150,000.
Wealth expert Deborah Owens has clients whose retirement accounts have a lot of zeros. One of those clients is Tracy Washington. While she's not at $1 million just yet, she's certainly on her way, and she arrived there with careful planning and research. In 2016, Tracy sold her home and lived with her mother for 6 months. During that time, Deborah told her to put every cent of her paycheck into her 401k.
what I initially said was well, what do you want me to live on? I mean, what do you want me to do? I said, you want me to take it out of my savings? She's like, yeah, just very matter of fact.
But that big risk put Tracy closer to her $1 million goal. While you may not have the luxury of living rent-free, Deborah says you can find your own path to 401k millionaire status. First, start saving early. According to the Motley Fool, a 30-year-old only has to contribute about $600 a month into their 401k to reach $1 million by age 65. But if you start saving when you're 40, you'd have to put away more than $1,200 a month. Second, always contribute the max. People with more than $1 million in their accounts typically contribute at least 15% of their salary. Third, take risks. Log into your 401k account and look at your portfolio. Research your investments and make changes to them if necessary.
Instead of just going with what's the easy investment, what is Fidelity throwing me into? Really research, look at the NASDAQ 12, know what stocks, mutual funds you are interested in.
And finally, invest in the stock market and targeted funds over a long period of time.
And so one of the things that I want you to understand, the reason that I wanted to show you Tracy in her own words is a lot of that wrong blueprint was what she had been following, right? So you heard her say, what is Fidelity just throwing me into? And so that really was the first secret. I just want to remind all of you is that that wrong blueprint is causing you to be in a situation where your money's not growing. And so that is the point. You've been following all of those rules, but while you're, as Lisa said, what was her takeaway? While you are, following that financial success blueprint that you were given, getting that college degree, striving to earn that 6 figures, being told that buying a big house is how you build wealth. And then after you earn all that money, going out and buying things, you were doing the opposite of what it's going to take you to really, really accelerate your financial growth. That's why it's important. It's important because you've got to learn to shift from that income middle class mindset to that wealth mindset. Is that making sense to you? And one of the things, the backstory on Tracy is that wasn't shown, that wasn't conveyed in that story was that what had happened was she had just sold a house and had significant assets, right? And so the reason she was living with her mother was because she was about to relocate, but she hadn't put all of her money hadn't made all of the contribution into her 401k. And the only way that she could do that was that money come out of her check. So that's what the interviewer meant by, when she asked her, put all the money in the check. Put all the money in her 401k. Well, the fact of the matter is that once Tracy learned how to analyze and research investments, analyze and research stocks, made the maximum in her 401k, that's what allowed her from that shift from that income to the wealth mindset and allowed her money to grow. And so the point of this 3-day challenge was not for you to just come and get this information. The point is that you've got to apply what you've learned. And that's why we open the doors to our WealthyU Ignite program that we just launched, so that you can not only take this knowledge and make the change, but that you can also apply the knowledge, right? So again, team, if you can put the WealthyU enrollment in, there are still spots open even to have a strategy session. If you can put the bit.ly WealthyU link in there, there is still time for you to join. This is simply a recap because I want you to understand the significance of it all And I'm wrapping this in a bow for you so that you can see how all of this works together and you can begin to apply the principles that you're learning and also get the accountability and support. So the other thing that, who remembers what secret number 2 is? If you remember what secret number 1 was mindset. What's secret number 2? Do you remember what secret number 2 is? So it's mindset is the first, making the shift from an income to a wealth mindset. And the second is what? Come on, I say I got some of my WealthyU sisters in here who are already in. That's right, strategy. And so the truth is that the strategy that the wealthy use versus what we use is the reason why we aren't further ahead. And so in the Get Wealthy Challenge, what I shared with you was the wealthy have different strategies, right? So while we're spending our money on buying cars, all of the expenses that we have, one of the things that I recognized very early on is the middle class spend, the wealthy invest. And what really became clear is that if we took that knowledge and we got to the other side of the ledger, that's the secret to having our money grow, right? To the same things that we're spending our money on to make an investment. And now I want to share with you really someone who did just that. So how many of you during this week could relate to the fact that, oh, my middle class mindset, if you were to have looked at where your money is going, that you could relate to the fact that the middle class versus the wealth mindset, if you could relate to that, the difference is spending versus investing. If you could relate to that, put yes in the chat, right? If you could see now the difference, the strategy that you needed to shift to, and how the wealthy get wealthy, that is the secret. Lisa says, I could relate. Barbara says, I can relate. Who else can relate to that? That the difference, the strategy that the wealthy use is they invest in the same products that the middle class spends their money in, because guess what? We're making those companies profitable, and that's how the stock market, stocks go up. That's what you learn in WealthyU, how to analyze and research and invest in the mutual funds that have companies like Comcast, like FiOS, like Tesla in them. That's how you learn how to make your money grow, right? And so now I want to share with you someone who came into WealthyU, began to make that mindset shift, and now the rest is history. So check this out. Check out how, by understanding this one principle, one of the women in WealthyU, what she was able to accomplish.
I said, I'm going to sign up for that. And that was your program. And on the first day, there was work done on mindset, and which I thought was extremely important. But then you had us clean out our purse. And what that meant was to look at your spending and see where you're spending your money. And I was horrified. I was wasting so much money. Something clicked for me during that week. And as we continued to work together, I learned more and more about investing. I was already invested, but you put the money in the 401k, you let somebody else take care of it. I began to look at money as the real tool that it is, right? The education I had gotten from the WealthyU program helped me to position myself a different way and be more fiscally responsible with my money, because I was more aware of where I was going financially. I had to put a plug in that leak. And then I had to determine how I was going to increase my income, how I was going to turn more of my income into wealth. I was able to pay off all my debt. And that was the first time in my life I had ever been debt free. And I tell you, I walked differently. It's a nice feeling to know, you don't have any bills, all your needs are met, and then you have money to be able to invest in yourself and build wealth. So that was a pivotal moment for me, able to start turning my net worth around.
And here's all I want to tell you is that if it can happen for her, it can happen for you. How many of you believe that you're going to be the one who's going to be on telling your story about how you paid off debt? You now have your money is growing faster, that you're on the path to 7 figures. If that's you, put yes in the chat. If you believe that, that's right, Barbara. One day you will be sharing your story. Who else believes that they're going to be one of the women who are on their path to the $1 million, and you're going to be telling your story and inspiring others? Pauline says, yes, I believe. That's right, Virginia. You're already on your way. You've more than doubled the investments that you've had since you've been in WealthyU, right? And so what I want you to know is her story started exactly where you were this week during the Get Wealthy Challenge, right? These 3 days, or whether you made it 3 or 2 days, it all started with making the shift to wealth and beginning to see that you needed a different strategy. You can go from spending to investing. You can go to the other side where you can have your money work for you. But the only way that's going to happen is, how do you think it's going to happen? You need the right blueprint, right? You need the right blueprint. And that blueprint really is, we've designed it for you. So in the chat, I want to just tell you our doors close tomorrow for enrollment in this program tomorrow at midnight. And now you're getting into the program for $1,000 off because we still have a fast track bonus going. So you can get started. If you could put the link in the chat, Virginia, you can get started with as little as $197 a month, or you can invest $1,997 and then have the ability to save $400, right? What I want you to know, and what I see here, there are a lot of members who are already here. Cassandra just joined. So what I want you to know is that it can happen for them. It can happen for you. And then next, what was the third? So we went over this week, we went over mindset. We went over strategy. What's the third secret that I shared with you in the chat? Let me see if you know. What was the third secret? That's right, execution. The most critical aspect of all. Because see, you can know exactly what to do and still not do it. And so execution, in terms of the blueprint that we were given, the wealthy do it differently. So while we've been told to go into the safe investments, universal life insurance, target date funds, as Tracy said in that other video, what they're throwing you into, because if you don't have the knowledge, you're going to end up in what they choose to put you in. We're playing not to lose, so we're not winning. We're going into guaranteed accounts that are paying very limited amounts, whereas our counterparts they've got estate planning and trust. They have a strategic plan if they're going to use life insurance. They're not using it as an investment. Rather than going into target date funds in their 401k account, they're in self-directed brokerage accounts, and they're allowing their money to be invested in investments that have an average annual return of 10% and are going to double every 5 to 7 years, as opposed to it taking 30 years for your money to grow. Rather than being in a guaranteed account, that account that you figure, I don't want to lose my money, they're in aggressive growth funds and index funds that don't have a lot of fees so their money can grow. Whereas we're going into tax sheltered annuities because these investment companies are telling us, oh, well, you can take this money out. It also has a death benefit. What you don't realize is that money going in there, there's an expense, and that's why your money's not growing. Whereas the wealthy are using strategies like backdoor IRAs, where they're able to go into these investments, and when they take the money out, they're taking it out tax-free. So the truth is that what the wealthy know, and the blueprint they got that we didn't, is that they're playing chess and we're playing checkers. And what I mean by that, they are thinking long-term, and they have a legacy wealth blueprint. And the fact is, they're absolutely not starting from scratch like we are. Many have inherited wealth. And because they have inherited wealth, that gives them an advantage. They have investable assets of $1 million. And so what they get is access to investment, private client, private banking. They have family offices. They get to go into IPOs. But what I want you to know is that you can do the same thing. You just have to know how. If this is making sense to you in the chat, put yes, I understand. If this is making sense to you. Because what I want you to understand is we talk a lot in WealthyU about our mission. And our mission is to help 1 million women get to $1 million in investable net worth. But it's not the money, it's the mission. You know, when I say 7 figures or $1 million, some people always say, well, why is she talking about money? What is that about? Why is 7 figures so important? Because what we've designed for you here is a legacy wealth blueprint, meaning that this money is going to pass on from generation to generation. Who can relate to that? Who has a goal and who wants to be able to leave their family a legacy, and that legacy be of wealth, but not only assets, but the knowledge to build wealth? If you want to have that opportunity, in the chat, put yes, I want to leave a legacy. Put legacy. Because that's what I want you to understand. What you're going to learn in WealthyU, that's right, Virginia, legacy. So what we've created for you in WealthyU is a legacy wealth blueprint. We were given the wrong blueprint, and that was the middle class blueprint. That's right, Barbara, you have this opportunity by engaging with this platform. And I'm so excited, Barbara, how you've engaged. Well, you engaged even before you joined. And then now that you've joined, you've really been engaging. And I love that about you, right? You're laughing, but yes. And do you see, Barbara, the power of the sisterhood? Like you were on the outside looking in. Now you're on the inside, and you actually have access to all of this knowledge that the wealthy have that you never had access to. And so I want to share with you another story. And what I love about this woman, when we met, I met her through my daughter, and I was simply going to make a presentation, and I had no idea that she would have eventually become a part of WealthyU and make such a significant impact. And the reason I want you to understand and hear her story, because it is exactly aligned with the goals that we have for WealthyU, but most importantly for you.
Deborah has been such an important part of my path to building legacy wealth. Several years ago, Deborah joined me and my colleagues at Under Armour for a panel that we were moderating for employees of color on thinking about reducing debt and building a path to financial freedom. It's something that I've been passionate about for a very long time. And through that work, Deborah and I built a personal relationship. I became a client of hers, and she helped me to build an investment portfolio, stock portfolio, and to become smarter in that space. This idea of building an investment thesis, this works for real estate. It works for startups. It works in your career even. The idea is that you understand the space really well, that you know that there are certain industries that you want to be involved in, that you have an idea of what return you're looking for, that you understand what your risk profile is. And risk profiles change throughout the course of your career, or through your life, or through personal circumstances. So today you might be able to take more risk than you previously took. Using myself as an example, I have a high penchant for risk. And that's due to a few things. Number one, I didn't know that I had a high penchant for risk when I was younger, but I really did. But I took a lot of risk in real estate, and I felt it didn't feel as risky to me because my parents are real estate investors. And this is an important part of building intergenerational wealth that Deborah talks about, is not just the money that you leave, but the confidence that you leave behind.
And that is the point. I want you all to really think about this. Imagine that your parents had access to a different blueprint and that they were able to pass on to you the knowledge that you now have access through WealthyU. In Kim's case, her parents were real estate investors. So they were able to pass that knowledge on to her. But again, here was someone with the level of sophistication that she had. In fact, attended two very prominent universities, an MBA at NYU. And yet, even though she had been exposed to some of the concepts around the financial markets, because she was just comfortable with real estate, she stayed there. But you know why? Because she didn't have a framework, right? So let me just tell you how impactful her becoming a member of WealthyU was. So here she has an extensive real estate investment portfolio that she's managing for her parents. She has her own real estate investment portfolio. She had been investing since she was in college, but no knowledge of investing in stocks. Not only did she build her own investment portfolio based on the knowledge that she gained from WealthyU, but a few years later, last year, she launched a venture capital fund and is now investing in early stage investors. And in one of our programs, our members were able to get access to that. And typically those investments are only available to high net worth. So what do I mean by early stage investments? You think of companies like PayPal and Airbnb. If you had invested when they had first gotten started, you would be a gazillionaire. And so the point that I'm making is because we have limited knowledge and limited access, we don't get access to that type of opportunity. But look at what's happening in what happened in WealthyU when you're able to gain this knowledge, right? When you're able to gain this knowledge, it is powerful. It is powerful. And so I know some of you are members already, but who would actually like to see what that wealth blueprint is and how these women have been able to achieve the level of financial success that they have? Go from knowing nothing about how to invest or analyze in stocks, and now they're actually managing their own 401ks, managing their investments, seeing what had been taking them years to accumulate, now accelerate to, 6, 7 figures and beyond. Who would actually like me to show you exactly how that's done? Who wants to see inside and actually see how the program works? Excellent. So I need a few more people to say yes. Who else wants to know how we actually do it? Lisa says, I would like to see how the program works. Excellent. Who else would like to see? I mean, I'm only going to show it to you if you want to see what is this framework that allows women in WealthyU to go from having no knowledge of investing to now have the competency to be able to manage their assets on their own. Okay. Pauline says, I do. Lisa says, I would. Barbara says, I would. Okay. So just briefly, what I want to share with you is exactly how these women have been able to finally get access to the right blueprint, right? The right blueprint. And now everything changed. Let me just share my screen. Okay, so here's what happens when you get the right blueprint. Okay, the first thing I want to say is we got the wrong blueprint. And that blueprint really was the middle class blueprint that told us to go to college, get a great job, try to earn that 6 figures and get a house. And that was how you would build wealth. And what really happened for most of us was that we ended up, so can everybody see the screen? Can you guys see the presentation? In the chat, let me just make sure you can see the presentation. Yes? All right, so we got the wrong blueprint, but I want to share with you the fact that that's what most other women discovered. And that's what you're going to discover, that you're 10 feet away from gold. But the only reason that you're not further ahead or you haven't achieved the level of financial success that you desire and you deserve is because you didn't have the right blueprint. But what we've created in WealthyU is a transformational wealth blueprint that is going to provide you access to the same high net worth strategies that the wealthy get, but this is designed for first generation investors. And so we've really created a program that makes it easy, right? Well, here's what I'm going to say. It makes it easy for you to understand. And so we basically put together a roadmap. And that roadmap allows you to first figure out what your gap is. Next, show you how to optimize what you already have and accelerate your return on investment, basically make your money work harder and maximize. And so once you're able to do that, then you're able to accelerate your financial growth. The WealthyU Ignite program is our entry-level program. to get your finances and get you a firm financial foundation. And then you graduate into our WealthyU society, where now you're actually building a portfolio and doing all of the things that you heard those women in those stories talk about. So in WealthyU Ignite, you have milestones that you're going to reach. You're going to identify your personal wealth gap, and I'll talk a little bit about how you do that. You're going to analyze, optimize, and maximize what you already have. You're going to increase your contributions, because that's when you learn, when you make that shift to a wealth, from an income to a wealth mindset, it becomes much easier for you to make decisions. You're going to want to invest more. In the chat, for those of you who are already in WealthyU, can you making that shift? Has your belief system and behavior changed? If that's true, in the chat, put yes. Right? And then once you get access to the right information, it makes it so much easier. It makes it so much easier for you to achieve your goals. And that's what our WealthyU 101 Ignite program is all about. And so the first thing that you're going to get access is our 10-module curriculum. And that's where you're going to learn the financial foundation. And that curriculum, in it takes you step by step, and we put it in language that you can understand. And in fact, the curriculum is based on my book, Nickel and Dime Your Way to Wealth, a parking attendant who never made more than $12 an hour and now has a 7-figure portfolio. So the point is, if he can do it, you can do it. And he never went as far as the 8th grade. And so what I want you to understand is that you have everything you need. The only thing you don't have is knowledge. So you're going to get that knowledge. Plus, you're going to have a monthly group session where you can get your questions answered. And you have a member success mentor like Virginia, who's staffing me tonight. In fact, we have a skill building session going on right now for the people in WealthyU Society, and they're learning how to analyze and research stock. And so the other thing that makes us different is that this is not a course. I mean, you're not going to just be given a bunch of recordings and say, figure it out, just watch the tape. No, you're going to have live sessions, and you're going to have someone there to provide you with an accountability and support. And so the value of that alone is worth over $16,000. And then the next thing you're going to get access to is our not only our 10-module curriculum, our monthly member group session, your success mentor, but also an Ignite toolbook. And that toolbook is designed to help you calculate and create that 7-figure blueprint and help you understand how to get there, understand what your wealth gap is, and what you need to accelerate that financial growth, so that now you have a blueprint, you have a roadmap, you know what you have to do. But not only, it doesn't stop there, because not only are you going to get a curriculum, you're going to get a monthly meeting, you're going to have that Ignite workbook. If you need to pay off debt, that tool is in there, our financial independence planner. You're also going to learn how to do exactly what you saw all of those women do. You're going to learn how to analyze, optimize, and maximize your investments so that your money can grow faster. I said, most of you are sitting 10 feet away from gold and would already be millionaires if you already had this knowledge. Okay, so literally $25,000 worth of value, curriculum, member group meetings, someone to be beside you who's been through what you have, our workbook, a wealth gap strategy, mutual fund. You're going to learn how to analyze, optimize, and maximize your investments. You're going to be one of those people who I'm going to be reviewing. And let me tell you, it's not going to take long either. The only thing standing between you and the financial success you desire is knowledge. But not only that, you're also going to get access to, we have had some amazing master classes that double click on how you can make more money, how you can be more successful, how you can leverage LinkedIn. I talked a little bit about early stage investing, equity crowdfunding, how you can make more money. Those are also included. And so this program, Ignite, and we kept it at our founding member, is worth over $30,000. And so the question becomes, how much do you feel like a program like this, you'd have to invest in it? Anybody want to guess in the chat? Well, here's what I want you to know is the founding member price is $29.97, but we are doing something amazing and taking $1,000 off of that. And for $1,997, you can start this program, right? You can get started in this program. Now, here's the other thing I want you to understand, though, is that after tomorrow at midnight, the program's going up to $2,997. And so one of the things why do we do this? We've created this program for you so that you can, so that you can get started. Now you can get started for as little as $197 a month, but the key is to get started. You know what's so interesting? I wonder if Barbara will share with us. So in the chat, put the link in for $197. Now, the other thing I'm going to say, we still have a couple of one-on-one strategy calls. So for those of you who sign up, I think I took that slide off, okay? But if you sign up tonight, now we have the enrollment is open until tomorrow night at midnight. But for those of you who sign up tonight, I'm still going to honor you having a one-on-one hour strategy session with me. And that in itself is worth, I'm going to tell you, when you go through that strategy session with me, you're going to know exactly what you need to do. We're going to identify your opportunity levers. You're going to know what you need to do. Many of you have been playing it safe and playing to not lose, so you're not winning. Listen, your money should be growing much more rapidly. And the only reason that it's not is because you don't even know what you don't know. If you could see yourself as being one of those women who got access to that knowledge. Did you hear what Sharon said? Sharon said it was the first time she had ever become debt-free and that she walks differently as a result. So the question I have for you is, if it can happen for them, can it happen for you? If you believe it can happen for you, put yes in the chat. And Barbara says, that's right, I didn't know. So Barbara, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to do something kind of spontaneously. Would you be willing to come on with me and talk about how you sat on the sidelines and now how it is now that you've come in? Okay, awesome. So I am going to spotlight you And I'm going to ask you to, and just so you guys know, this wasn't planned. So I appreciate Barbara being willing. So you just need to unmute yourself, Barbara.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. Thank you
Oh,
for this. I appreciate this because I know there are women who, you know, they may have just got exposed. So share with them how long ago did you learn about WealthyU? How long has it been?
well, it's been over a year. You would have these challenges, and I would always come. And I noticed at each challenge, you would get me thinking about things that I never even thought about.
How so?
Well, one, the main thing you said was shift your mindset. And I said, well, she's right about that. You got to be thinking about what you're doing. And I never really thought about, managing my money. I knew I had money coming in, but I wasn't managing it. And I felt that, wow, this lady says, talking with her group of people, they're going to be talking finances. And that's the area in my life that I needed assistance with my finances. I had never even considered buying a stock, personally. I had always worked throughout the years and let the managers manage my 401k options. But in listening to your challenges, I said, wow, gosh, I'm so far in debt. I really need to be with this group. These ladies are talking my language. I need to know what to do with the money that I have. I don't have a lot, but I can manage the little I do have. So what I would do is I would check your challenges out every week. And during that time, I would always find a tidbit of information. So what I started doing was, taking that bit of information, going to do my research, and I found out, wow, I don't have to have a financial planner. I can open my own brokerage account. And that's what I did. I opened one with at the time, Robinhood.
Okay.
And I got the opportunity to earn a free stock, which the one I chose, they dangled 3 in front of me, and I chose the one, I think the cheapest one, but it was like $3. But I was so excited because I had never owned a stock and probably never would have thought about it if I hadn't have listened to those challenges.
The conversation is different, right?
It is. It really is.
Now, so you listen to those challenges, you got some tidbits, and then you joined, right? So how long have you been in WealthyU now?
I hadn't been in too long as far as, joining the Ignite. Well, I started about a month or so ago.
Right. And so now that you're inside, what's it like? Like you were on the outside looking in, now that you actually see what happens inside, what's it like?
Okay, so for my first skill building session, we analyzed mutual funds. Now, I have to admit, I knew absolutely nothing. Okay, I'm talking taking wild shot guess about stock, trying to base my decisions just on the fact that they were paying dividends. But when I attended one of the skill building sessions, the ambassador, I think her name was Tawana went line by line, explaining things that we really needed to pay attention to and come into our assessments about stocks and about mutual funds, because we hadn't done the stocks yet, mutual funds. But it was so enlightening. After we finished our skill building session and she gave us some references and resources as well, after I set up and researched that information, I went through my portfolio and got rid of a few things too that shouldn't have been there as long as it has been. So yes, it's very much worth the money.
Yeah, because that's the point. And Pauline said that she did the same thing, Barbara. You're not alone. So she would come to these challenges and, just get those little tidbits.
Yeah.
Final question though for you is, what has been the most impact from you being inside of the sisterhood?
The most impactful thing for me is just obtaining knowledge. I listen to you talk all the time. You say funny things. But one thing that you said that really struck me about how a lot of times we buy into these platforms and programs and they throw the information out to us. Well, in your platform, you get a chance to meet with live people and you get a chance to ask questions. And I think if you have people who aren't really grasping, you have like mentors that can help them. So you have like a no lose type platform. The only way you lose in this platform, Ms. Owens, is if you don't execute like you're saying. That's the only way you're gonna lose. But then you know what? I take that back. You don't lose, you either win or learn. So there are no losers.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Oh, thank you so much for coming on.
That's
right?
no problem. Okay.
Because what I want folks to understand is that all that is required is for you to take action.
That's it.
Right?
That's it.
That's all that's required of you.
That's it.
And we launched the Wealthy because we had WealthyU 101, but that was kind of do it yourself. And that's not how we roll in WealthyU. We know you need accountability and support. And so we launched the WealthyU Ignite program for you. Again, it's our entry-level program. We even priced it, right? We know we're giving a lot of value. But for those of you who are ready to take action, know that you want to take advantage of this opportunity. $19.97, $197 a month for a 12-month program that's going to fundamentally change your financial trajectory. We have women in here where it took them 20 years to save. In just a few years, they've almost doubled it. And I truly want you to know that you are 10 feet away from goal. And the only thing standing between you and the knowledge that you desire, really, the financial success you desire is knowledge. And that's what you get in WealthyU, right? So just to recap, you get an online module, a curriculum. You get a tool book, a work that with formulas and workbooks that allow your money to grow. You get accountability and support. You meet monthly. You come to a skill building session. You're live. You're able to ask questions. And so if we could put the link in the chat, I want to see who is actually going to take advantage of this opportunity. Let's put the link in the chat. And in fact, I'm going to go over there with you. Okay, if you'll just cut and paste that link. And I'm gonna actually share my screen when I get over there. So it's not all it's gonna take. Hold on, let me just share my screen. Come on, technology. Oh, I'm sharing the wrong thing. Hang on. I think I got too many windows open, y'all. Here we go. Okay, if you click that link, it should have brought you here, right? Fired up and ready to go. You click here if you want to pay monthly. You click here if you want to pay in full. Founder member pricing, $1,000 in savings is going away tomorrow at midnight. But if you join tonight, you are going to qualify for a one-on-one strategy session with me. Okay? You've heard all of the stories. Belinda, 7 figures and beyond. Tamika, $80,000 in debt, achieved her first 6-figure portfolio in just less than 18 months. Charity, her first 6-figure portfolio. The truth is that analysis paralysis is eating up your confidence. We're going to show you how to break through to 6 figures and beyond. Being stuck, it really does mean you're falling behind. So now's the time for you to take action so you can become unstuck and unstoppable, because that's what happens in WealthyU. You get all the accountability and support that you need. But the question I have is, are you stuck or are you afraid, right? And I know fear is real. And part of that fear is a function of you not having accountability and support. And I tell everyone, our secret sauce in WealthyU, it really is our sisterhood and our community. Because you're going to be around women who want you to win. We're winners in WealthyU. We know that we are responsible. We know that we have a desire. We are responsible and no excuses. And so if you're ready, all you have to do is click on that link. You can pay by Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express. $197, you can barely go out to dinner for $200. If you were to look in your checking account right now and see the things that you are on the other side of the ledger, you are not investing your resources in things that are going to help you grow. And my commitment to you and everyone in this community, I am so confident. I know that we can literally change not only the financial trajectory of yourself, but of your families too. We have women in here who have now taught their children how to invest in their 401k. They're starting investments for their grandchildren. We are creating a legacy of wealth. And you're investing in the one thing that no one can ever take away from you. And that's the knowledge of how to build wealth. And that is the most valuable asset of all. So come on in and join our 7-figure sisterhood. The water is fine. And just because I love this video so much, I'm just gonna have to play it again, because I want to make sure all of you are fired up and ready to go, because we're on a mission to help 1 million women get to $1 million in investable assets, but not for ourselves, for our families, because we're going to create a legacy and we're going to break the cycle. Now it becomes a legacy of wealth that we pay for. And that's why you need to join WealthyU Ignite, because you need to get fired up and ready to go.
Fired up, ready to go. Fired up, ready to go. Fired up, ready to go. Fired up, ready to go. I'm Edith S. Childs from Greenwood, South Carolina, and I'm the one that got Barack Obama fired up.
So I just want to close with a story that some of you know, because it shows you the importance of one voice. And it's a story about my first trip to Greenwood.
When I heard that he was coming to Greenwood, I thought, okay, I'm just gonna go and welcome him to Greenwood.
Turns out that Greenwood is about an hour and a half from everywhere else.
Well, Greenwood is a little bit out of the way.
So we drive and we drive. Finally, we get to Greenwood. We pull up to a small building.
Right here in this building, the Civic Center.
It's pouring down rain. And my umbrella blows open and I get soaked. I'm mad, I'm wet. We go inside and lo and behold, after an hour and a half drive, turns out there are 20 people there.
When he first came in the room, he had this grin on his face, like maybe I'm in the wrong place. You know, it was a small group of people.
20 people. And they all look kind of damp and kind of sleepy, like maybe they aren't really excited to be there either.
And looking around at everyone in the room, I knew we had to do something.
Suddenly, I hear this voice cry out behind me, "Fired up!" And I'm shocked.
I know that the senator wasn't sure what was going on because he had that look on his face.
So I look behind me, and there's this small woman. Looks like she just came from church. She got a big church hat. And she's standing there, and she looks at me, and she's smiling. And she says,
Fired up, ready to go. I knew we needed to keep saying, fired up, ready to go.
And so for the next 5 minutes, she proceeds to do this. Fired up. Everybody says fired up and ready to go. And everybody says ready to go. And I'm standing there and I'm thinking, she's stealing my thunder. I look at my staff, they shrug their shoulders. They don't know how long this is going to go. But here's the thing, Virginia. After a minute or so, I'm feeling kind of fired up. I'm feeling like I'm ready to go. I join in the chant. And it feels good. And for the rest of the day, even after we left Greenwood, I'd see my staff. I'd say, "Are you fired up?" They'd say, "We're fired up, boss. Are you ready to go?" I'd say, "I'm ready to go."
Once you hear it, you will never forget it.
So some people start putting "fired up, ready to go" on their shirts. Some people start putting "fired up, ready to go" on signs. Everybody's saying "fired up" and "ready to go." It shows you what one voice can do. One voice can change a room. And if the voice can change a room, it can change a city. And if it can change a city, it can change a state. And if it can change a state, it can change a nation. And it can change a nation. It can change the world. Your voice can change the world. So I've just got one question for you. Are you fired up? Are you ready to go? Fired up. Ready to go. 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 Fired up. Let's go change the world.
That's right. Let's go change the world. If you're ready to be one of the million with a million, then you need to join WealthyU. And I can't wait to welcome, I want to welcome all of our members: Betsy Spratt, Carolyn Lassiter, Antoinette Faison, Teresa Burnett, Shanice Yoakley, Sandra Rambert, Cynthia Smith, Micah Thomas, Roberta Satterwhite, Vanita Fain Schieffer. One of the other things I want to do too is, for those who were VIPs and participated, our winner for last night was Rosemary Lewis. And our grand prize winner is Shanice Yoakley. All right, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us for the 3-day Get Wealthy Challenge. and joining us for our bonus training this evening. I can't wait to welcome all of you into our WealthyU sisterhood. For those of you who are watching on Facebook or watching other platforms, the doors close at 12 o'clock midnight tomorrow night. If you join tonight, you are going to get your strategy session with me, and I can't wait to see what's next. And I can't wait to interview our next person who's going to be sharing with us how she joined our challenge, and she's going to recount everything that's happened and how she hit her first 6 figures or her first 7 figures. If it can happen for them, it can happen for you. Have a great evening, everybody, and good night.